Okay, we are live now.
Welcome to the City of Gallatin Council Committee meeting. First, I'm going to read the governor's executive order on the meeting. Pursuant to Governor Lee's executive order number 16 and subsequent orders and the need to limit the community spread of COVID-19, the January 12, 2021 Gallatin City Council meeting will be held by electronic means. The meeting will be live streamed to protect the public health, safety, and welfare of the council and citizens of Gallatin. The Zoom meeting at, do I have to read that? Meeting will be live streamed. We can dial 1-470-250-9358 or 1-470-381-2552 and enter webinar ID number 895-5799-6153.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Now we're ready for roll call.
Roll call.
Vice Mayor Fennell,
Here.
Councilman Alexander,
Present.
Councilman Fan,
Yes.
Councilwoman George,
Yes.
Councilman Hayes,
Yes.
Councilwoman Love,
Yes.
and Councilman Overton.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
We'll now do the call to order, Ms. Kittrell.
All righty. Vice Mayor Fennell,
Here.
Councilman Alexander,
Present.
Councilman Fan,
Here.
Councilwoman George,
Here.
Councilman Hayes,
Here.
Councilwoman Love,
Here.
and Councilman Overton.
Present.
We have a quorum.
We'll now have the approval of minutes for December 8, 2020 council work session. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any corrections or anything, or Ms. Love, or we're good? Okay. Vice Mayor Fennell,
Yes.
Councilman Alexander,
Yes.
Councilman Fan,
Yes.
Councilwoman George,
Yes.
Councilman Hayes,
Yes.
Councilwoman Love,
Yes.
and Councilman Overton.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Next, we'll now have public recognition for anyone who would like to speak.
Thank you, sir. Yes, if you'd like to speak, please use the raise your hand function. If you mouse over the bottom of your screen, you'll see that button if you're using a PC or if you're using the app. If you're calling by phone, you will raise your hand by using *9, hitting *9. And I'm looking at the attendees. Do not see anyone who'd like to speak there, making sure panelists. It does not appear anyone would like to speak.
Okay, we'll move on to mayor's comments.
Thank you. The only thing that I really have to say tonight is that this is the last time we're going to see David Gregory on this screen. So, David, I've told you, but I say on behalf of this council, the employees of the city of Gallatin, and the citizens of the city of Gallatin, we appreciate what you've done. You've built an amazing utility that has us well poised for the future, setting the stage for a very bright future for our city. And you have been a tremendous part of that. You will be missed and remembered quite well. And we hope you'll stay in touch, but not too closely because we want you to enjoy your retirement. But we love you and appreciate you.
Don't miss you, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you for all of you. I appreciate it. It's been a great ride. I've been truly blessed. I really have for a country boy to come to see all of his dreams fulfilled really in the utilities industry for the 50 years that I've been into it. I've really enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed working with y'all. Y'all been great. You've always supported me. You've always supported the utilities, and the city should be proud of all of you. And the other thing is, I didn't do it. It's been the employees and y'all who have done it all. I've just been the department head, that's all. But I'm gonna miss you, I know, but I'm ready to go on to do other things. Thanks.
I too want to congratulate you, Mr. Greer, on your retirement and echo the thanks that the others have expressed for all your hard work. 50 years is a long time. I probably won't be on this council for 50 years, but nevertheless, I'll come by your house anytime to break bread with you. Just give me a call. Thank you, man. Good luck.
Thanks. I need it sometime.
And Mayor, I'd also like to interject. If it hadn't been for David Gregory and his guidance and his direction and his abilities, a lot of what has occurred in this city would not have occurred. We couldn't have done it without his foresight, leadership, and investment. And it's made it so that we have the ability to go out and attract companies, the least of which is Facebook. If it hadn't been for his leadership and what he had done to make sure that this city has what it needs, that company would not be here. So David, my hat's off to you. Couldn't have done it without you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, James. And I apologize for any times I might have been a little bit rough with you, but it goes with the territory.
Agreed.
I appreciate it.
Agreed.
You've been a steadfast defender, that's for certain. But seriously, what James said does make me feel like it's appropriate to say that I think a lot of citizens really don't understand and therefore have the exposure to appreciate the capacity that has been built in that system. And without strong leadership, that would not have happened. I mean, we have water and sewer capacity that other cities would love to have and dream about having, but will probably never aspire to have. And so that's all happened under you. And so we do owe you a lot of gratitude. And you have it.
Thank you, David.
Sure.
Thank you. We'll miss you.
David, I had somebody tell me he's a pretty good football player back in high school too. at Hartsville.
And
No, he
Well,
was a boy.
we didn't know where Hartsville was back
We
then.
beat Galveston 3 of my 4 years.
You didn't have to bring that up.
I know. That was 100 pounds ago.
Hey, I understand that.
Those are my only comments this evening.
Okay, we'll move on to the agenda then. Item number 1 is resolution number R2101-1, authorizing the mayor to sign contract 7/20/2020 with Infinity Pipeline Incorporated. That's Mr. Gregory.
Yeah, this is the 7th contract that we had to complete all of the promises and all of the infrastructure that we needed to do the Woolhawk job. This one in particular is for the force main. It's about 10,000 linear feet of force main. It's going to do a lot of things. It's going to help us to run sewer to another part of our town instead of going through what we call Bulls Creek, our south end. And it will free up some capacity in the future for us and also have the capacity for them to do what they need to do 3 years from now. So
Motion to send it to council.
Second.
okay.
Vice Mayor Fennell,
Yes.
Councilman Alexander,
Yes.
Councilman Fan,
Yes.
Councilwoman George,
Yes.
Councilman Hayes,
Yes.
Councilwoman Love,
Yes.
and Councilman Overton.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
And
Gonna say something, Dave.
I've got the next one too, resolution. Go ahead.
Resolution number R2101-2, authorizing the mayor to sign contract 8/20/2020 with Cleary Construction. Mr. Gregory.
Yeah, this is the last contract that completes that. It will be for a gravity sewer that'll be extended on Highway 31E. It'll it'd be an 18-inch gravity sewer extended about 5,400 feet. This is the gravity sewer that the force main that we just passed will go into.
Motion to send it to council.
Second.
Second.
Ms. Kittrell.
Okay. Vice Mayor Fennell,
Yes.
Councilman Alexander,
Yes.
Councilman Fan,
Yes.
Councilwoman George,
Yes.
Councilman Hayes.
Yes.
Councilwoman Love,
Yes.
and Councilman Overton.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Thanks again, guys
You.
and girls.
Thank you.
Agenda number 3 is ordinance number 02101-1 appropriating funds for completion of infrastructure improvements in the Home Depot subdivision. Mr. Tuttle.
Thank you, Councilman Fan. This is Nick Tuttle, the city engineer. And at the direction of the Planning Commission, back a couple of months ago, we made a demand on the Home Depot subdivision. And you may be asking where that is, because we don't have Home Depot in Gallatin. But about 15 or so years ago, Home Depot purchased land to subdivide and develop, and ended up not doing that development. But they're in the area of the Garden Inn on Tulip Poplar. That area right there was where the Home Depot subdivision was, and there are a couple little stubs of roads, including a section of Tulip Poplar that we just recently paved. If you've been in that area over the past couple of months, you'll notice that it's complete. So this money that we made a demand on from the letter of credit was used to go to that paving, and we're actually going to begin starting to look at a traffic signal at the intersection of Belvedere and Tulip Poplar, where some warrant studies have been done, and we've got some initial findings that are indicating that a signal could be warranted there. So we're beginning that process now.
And let me tell you, Nick, it looks good. It's been 15 years. Exactly.
Right.
I moved here right when they bought it, 2005. It's been 15 years.
Got a motion, Mr. Hayes?
Yeah, it's motion. It's a lot smoother road too.
Second.
Ms.
I
Kittrell.
second him, Steve Fennell.
Vice Mayor Fennell,
Yes.
Councilman Alexander,
Yes.
Councilman Fan,
Yes.
Councilwoman George,
Yes.
Councilman Hayes,
Yes.
Councilwoman Love,
Yes.
and Councilman Overton.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
The next one is item number 4, report on bond sale. Ms. Nichols, please.
Yes, sir. We held our bond sale last week on the $11 million that council had approved back in the fall. I'm pleased to report that we had an all-in interest rate of 1.4971518. So under 1.5%, borrow $11 million for 20 years. We were very pleased with that rate. The winning bid was FHN Financial Capital Markets, and that is the capital market arm of First Horizon. The person who bid was actually in their New York office, but when we closed today, we were dealing with the Memphis office. So that was kind of nice to have a Tennessee office getting our bonds. There were 8 bids total. They ranged from the 1.3979, which was the low bid, to 1.5899. Once we added in all the closing costs, that adjusted the actual all-in rate to the 1.49%. As part of this bond sale, we're required by the state of Tennessee to present to you State Form CT 0253. I emailed that to you earlier today. I believe Mr. Henschel may have a copy of it that he can put up on the screen, but this is a summary report of the debt obligation, and I'm just required to present that to you per the State Comptroller's Office. It doesn't require a vote next week, but if someone would make a motion to accept the report, that would be all we need for this.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Thank you. I have about an 8-page summary of some different highlights on the bond sale that I will email to you later this evening or tomorrow. But we were really pleased with the result of the bond sale.
Thanks, Rachel.
Ms. Rachel, is that the lowest we ever had, that 1.5%?
We went back approximately 15, 20 years, and that was the lowest rate that we could find in that history.
Okay.
And that, Rachel, can I ask you, how long was the floor open as far as bidding on this bond? Just curiosity.
It was open for, they were notified and had notice of it for a couple of weeks, but it's somewhat like an eBay bid. The deadline is set at 10 o'clock and the bids start rolling in at about 30 seconds before 10 o'clock.
Oh,
I was curious how that worked.
It's an electronic bid platform. Like I said, it's much like an eBay bid. You just set a deadline of when the bids are due, and most firms will hold off until that morning to actually place their bid because they're watching the federal market, the stock market, and just everything. They're keeping an eye on treasury bills before they actually submit their best bids.
Thank you for answering that.
Also, as part of this, David Brown and I would like to have your permission for him to move forward tomorrow morning with the Gulf irrigation system replacement. We are under a bit of a timeline crunch to get that installed before Gulf really ticks up in the spring. And we have the bids that have been returned. We're just waiting for you to appropriate the funds. And we were hoping that you would be willing to give us a verbal agreement to allocate 500,000 of this 11 million toward that irrigation system. That's what we had discussed in the fall. But since it hasn't been officially appropriated, we wanted to get your blessings for him to move forward tomorrow morning, awarding that bid.
Motion to move forward.
I'll second that with a question. Since this is opened up right here, say, you know, I'll push for 4 years for Don Bandy and the fire department as far as the training, the range out there. I wonder when we can actually try to get him the money where we can start on that.
I will have that ordinance in 2 weeks. I just did not have that drafted before this meeting. Once we finally had the sale and had the final numbers from the sale, but I will have the ordinance drafted and bring it back at the work session in 2 weeks for you to appropriate the funds.
Okay, thank you.
Just for a point of clarification, on the report, did you need a vote? We had a motion and a second, but no vote. And now we have a motion also on this other, so I don't want us to get our votes mixed up for the record. Do you need a vote on the report, the bond report?
No, I just have to present it and it has to show on the record that it was presented.
Okay.
Mr. Nichols,
Yes, sir.
is this bond, is it like a line of credit? You pay the interest on as you use it, or do you have to take it all up front?
No, sir. We've already received all the money. It's in our bank account now, and we started accruing interest immediately. Our first interest payment will be due July 1st.
So it'd be in our favor to go ahead and get these projects done and right.
Yes, we are required or highly recommended that these projects be completed within 3 years. The comptroller frowns on us greatly if these go past 3 years.
Okay, thank you.
I do want to chime in just for a second and say that I hope you do take a look through the documents that Rachel's going to send to you. It really did tell a great story about our city, and you should be proud of this. It wound up happening on a day that could have been, was quite uncertain because it was the day after the Georgia elections. And we were very, very fortunate. But when you look at comparisons to what I wouldn't call them contemporaries, but what comparables they could find that have gone to market in the last month or so, we did great. We did substantially better. The only entity that did better than us was someone that was taking a shorter term on their bond. So we did better than everyone else. We're really, really proud of that. And it will set us up well for the future. And we borrowed at a lower interest rate than we anticipated. And so that's a very, very good thing. But it's interesting to look through there. And Councilman Alexander, in answer to your question about how it compared to money we had borrowed in the past, we were more than a percentage point lower than we had ever been before as we look back.
It's good.
Can we legally take the money that's sitting there now and draw interest on it if we wanted to?
We can. We cannot earn more than we are paying out. We have to watch bond arbitrage. If we end up earning more than we're paying, then we get penalized and we have to pay that and a penalty.
Okay. We'll move on to agenda number 5, monthly financial
Oh, wait.
reports for
We're gonna
November.
vote on it.
We got
Go ahead and vote, okay.
golf course thing.
And this will be the vote on the bond report. So Vice Mayor Fennell,
Connie, I thought we didn't have to vote on the
Vote on the
report,
report.
but just
Well,
on the
I
golf
was
course.
confused because there was a motion and a second and no vote. So if you want to withdraw your motion and second, if no vote is required, then we can move on to the vote on the golf course.
I'll withdraw my motion.
I withdraw mine.
So we're gonna vote on the first one?
so now this will be the vote on the golf course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vice Mayor Fennell,
Yes.
Councilman Alexander,
Yes.
Councilman Fan,
Yes.
Councilwoman George,
Yes.
Councilman Hayes,
Yes.
Councilwoman Love,
Yes.
Councilman Overton,
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Thank you.
Now do we need to vote on the second one?
No, that's it.
That was the second.
That was,
Okay. All right, agenda number 5, report on the bond sale, Ms. Nichols. I'm sorry, not bond sale, financial report.
The November financial reports were included in your packet. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer. The only comments I have on it is that we're trending well. We're still very pleasantly pleased with our sales tax numbers. We've yet to see them dip like we were afraid that COVID would do. So, and it's not on this report, but property tax collections that came in well in December as well. I'll have that next month.
Do we need to vote to approve that?
No, sir.
We'll move on to agenda number 6. Resolution number R2101-1, approving an indemnity and hold harmless agreement with certificate of liability insurance to use the city maintained right-of-way on Duval Drive, Beck's Place, and Spearling Drive in the Cumberland Point subdivision for the installation and maintenance of street trees. Mr. McCord.
Yes, council, this is an item that would require an indemnity agreement with the developers of the Cumberland Point subdivision. They intend to install street trees between the curb and the sidewalk within that development. This is similar to agreements that we've had in Fairview and Newman's Crossing and the Kennesaw Farm. So what it means that most of the landscaping or the larger trees would be on city property, but the the developer and the homeowner association would take care of them and be responsible for maintenance of those.
That was my question, Mr. Paul, who's gonna maintain them, but you answered that.
Yeah.
Bill, are they between the sidewalk and the road?
Yeah, the back of curb and the sidewalk, there's a, I believe it's a minimum of 5 foot wide strip there where in the front yards essentially of houses and in front of a common open space.
Okay.
Bill, do you know if they've had any homeowners meetings or anything discussed it? Do you have any idea if it's just a developer doing it?
Well, this subdivision is still under construction, so they don't have anybody living there. And this, right now, the homeowner association would be the developer, and they're the one requesting this.
So are we liable if a tree falls on a car or if a tree falls on property or whatever?
I'll let the city attorney address that one.
You say nobody's living there. Where's Cumberland Point?
It's that new subdivision that's under construction on the north side of Red River Road, just west of Twin Eagles.
Oh, yeah, okay, I know which one. Okay,
It's a little pond in front there.
yeah, absolutely, okay. Motion to approve.
Had a question on the floor though.
Yeah.
There's a question.
Yes, and Linda, that's what we have this immunity and hold harmless. That's what you're voting on right now. They will sign that. They will hold the city harmless for any liability.
Thank you.
I'll second Jimmy's motion.
Kittrell?
Vice Mayor Fennell,
Yes.
Councilman Alexander,
Yes,
Councilman Fan,
Yes.
Councilwoman George,
Eileen,
Sorry, I couldn't hear.
they want to know how you vote on that.
I don't hear Councilwoman George,
Yes.
Councilman Hayes,
Yes. Yes.
Connie, I think your camera's cutting out.
Froze, I think.
Mr. Gregory, could you cut Mr. Kitcher power back on, please?
Yeah, I think Ms. Kittrell is frozen. Ms. Smiley, do you have a recommendation for, okay, she's gone away. Maybe she's going to rejoin us.
Yeah, she will just have to rejoin. It must be her internet connection at home. Because everybody else is fine.
So, Mayor, you gonna do the roll call or do we have to wait? We just got one more name, Mr. Overton.
And me.
Oh, Miss Lowe, I'm sorry. Sorry,
Forgot me.
Miss George, I'm sorry.
Wait and see if she comes back in.
Technology.
When do we get to meet in person?
Next week.
Soon you make the bread and cook the chicken.
There's Ms. Kittrell. She's back and you're still muted.
Unmute yourself, Connie.
You're muted, Connie.
You can't hear me, but now she's muted.
There she went again.
Linda, if you'll peck on your screen, she'll come back on.
okay. Sorry, it just went, I lost everyone.
Okay.
I have yes votes on everyone down to Ms. Love
Yes.
and Councilman Overton.
Yes.
I have a vote of 7 ayes and 0 nays. Took a while, but we got it.
It passes. Resolution number 7, item number 7, resolution number R2101-3, adopting and recommending to the Sumner County Coordinating Committee an amendment to the City of Gallatin urban boundary of the growth plan for Sumner County ratified by the Gallatin City pursuant to Public Chapter 1101 Acts of 1998. Mr. McCord.
Okay, this next item, I'm going to share a screen. This is the map that the committee has seen, the council has seen before, and this is the map that represents the growth boundary that the council had recommended that we consider. And what it does is, as I explained, I believe in the December meeting, and also I think we presented this at the council meeting a week ago, that we're adding to our urban growth boundary. It's been 20 years since it was adopted. Well, the big part that we're adding is over on the westerly portion in the Ocana area, including the new Liberty Creek School complex over there. They're building 3 new schools, and it consists of that area north of Long Hollow Pike and generally east of Latimer Drive, and of course the school complex. In addition, we are removing or recommending removing a small strip of land, which is a private road that extends down from Big Station Camp Boulevard to Lower Station Camp Boulevard, and including properties that are on the east side of Station Camp Boulevard. And it also includes all of that portion of Station Camp Boulevard. That's the rough section. I think everybody's aware of that area. That's kind of a no man's land. Hendersonville de-annexed that area. So we would include it in our urban growth boundary, although we're not annexing it, at least not yet. And then we'd also exclude that portion of the very western end of the city that extends on the north side of the railroad tracks, where the 386 overpass extends over the railroad and Highway 31. And it's isolated from the rest of the city. So you'd have to go into Hendersonville to get to that area. So there's really not much there. I believe Rogers Group owns the majority of that property. So those would be the changes that we are proposing at this point, that was endorsed by the council earlier. And this is a resolution that will be heard. Y'all had a first reading on it. It'll have a second reading and adoption at the next council meeting in a week. And then the report will be finished, and we will also provide the report to you.
Bill, does that growth boundary, does it include the Comer barn?
Yes, that's already in the city limits.
Okay.
So it keeps that in the city.
And also I thought on Big Station Camp, I thought we already cut a deal with Hendersonville when we done the swappage. I thought we already had that part taken care of.
Well, you're right. We have approved amending that boundary. However, the Local Government Planning Advisory Committee has not been able to meet to take in consideration of that change. So we're representing that on this map. Now, should the Local Planning Advisory Committee take action to adopt that, we'll make that adjustment to this map. We'll need to, it'll essentially be what is shown here. I don't know when they're going to meet, though. They've had some difficulty, I guess, getting a quorum or something. But that reflects that action that y'all took earlier this year or last summer.
Okay, Bill, thank you.
Motion to send it on.
I'll second that.
Ms. Kittrell.
Vice Mayor Fennell,
Yes.
Councilman Alexander,
Yes.
Councilman Fan,
Yes.
Councilwoman George,
Yes.
Councilman Hayes,
Yes.
Councilwoman Love,
Yes.
and Councilman Overton.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Moving on to item number 8, reappointments to the Industrial Development Board and the Health, Education, and Housing Facilities Board. Mr. Fenton.
Thank you. We have Mr. Lenasante and Larry Wise that have been a member of both boards, And we are just asking that you reappoint them to those boards.
Motion to approve or send it on or whatever.
Second.
Ms. Kittrell.
Wait, James,
Yes,
I
sir.
got a question. Yeah,
Okay,
James, you
Vice
said
Mayor.
Linda Santi. I heard that name, but who was the second name?
Larry Wise.
Okay, all right.
And they've been on the boards. They were both appointed to terms that were shortened because of people that had stepped off the board. And it needs to be noted that they will both be appointed for 6 years.
6 years from now?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's a long board right there, isn't it?
And there's a reason, Councilman Fennell. Often, as you know, working with Facebook, working with all these developments, they are long-term projects. And it's important and has been determined that by the state TCA code annotated that there be some continuity, that people be able to follow along for quite some time to make sure these projects get pushed through. And that's why IDB terms are 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah, and I wanted to clarify, that's by the state statute that James referenced. That's not a city bylaw. That's a state statute. The 6-year term.
My
Gotcha.
question is, what is IDB and HEHFB?
Industrial Development Board is the IDB, and Health, Education, and Housing Facilities Board. And we have both of those boards because of state law. The IDB is able to work with industrial projects, and we had to establish the HEHF board about 8 years ago, to deal with, it was actually brought about because of the assisted living facility that's out there. And it's just a state determination of which board can work with what kind of a group.
Okay, so both of these gentlemen will be working on both boards.
Yes, yes. The makeup of both boards is identical.
Okay, and you appointed them both?
No, I did not. The city council did.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
We need to vote on that.
Okay.
Yes,
Vice
we
Mayor,
do need to vote.
Vice Mayor Fennell,
Yes.
Councilman Alexander,
Yes.
Councilman Fan,
Yes.
Councilwoman George,
Yes.
Councilman Hayes,
Yes.
Councilman Love,
Yes.
Councilman Overton.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Thank you.
Number 9 on the agenda is the Gallatin Department of Electricity Board appointment. Mayor Brown.
Thank you. I don't believe that this requires a council vote. Is that correct, Ms. Hamakawi?
I believe that is correct. It's the mayor's appointment.
Yes, but I did want you all to be aware. You're aware of the passing of Al Bennett back before Christmas, and the Gallatin Department of Electricity Board is a small board. Councilman Alexander serves on it along with Haley Meredith. And so I've made the decision, after having a very long list of people that I've contemplated, to appoint a lady in our community by the name of Beth Bennett to this board. Beth is an actuary with a company in Nashville, although she does work at home a lot here in Gallatin with Brian Pendleton. And I think she will be a wonderful addition to that board. And she was also Mr. Bennett's daughter-in-law. So I think that's kind of a nice piece of it as well. And so she will be serving to fill out the rest of his term, which I think is later this year, but she will be the at least temporary appointment for that position.
Mayor, you do have a resolution in the packet to go on the agenda next week.
Oh, well, thank you for, I thought we went Thought we had a discussion about it, but it didn't require the vote.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
We don't have to vote, do we?
I think we're unclear.
We'll just vote on it. We're unclear. If you don't need one, and she can go away with it.
Well, then we vote on the next week.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Vote of confidence.
I mean, if
Voted
I think it's better to have the support of the council than to not, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's a good
But if it's
endorsement.
next
regardless.
week, we'll have to vote on the next week anyway, right?
Well, I mean, this way you will, but that's fine. I mean, that's just.
Yeah.
So we're gonna vote on it next week.
If you're gonna vote on it next week, you have to send it to council tonight. You have to have a vote tonight to vote on it next week.
So we just vote on it.
All right, we got a motion and a second.
Ms. Kittrell?
Vice Mayor Fennell,
Yes.
Councilman Alexander,
Yes.
Councilman Fan,
Yes.
Councilwoman George,
Yes.
Council.
Yes. We can't hear her.
Yes, Linda.
Is she still there? I'll say yes. I don't know.
Councilman Love, Councilman Overton,
Yes.
passes
7-0.
7-0.
Go ahead, Mr. Van.
Has everyone voted?
Yes.
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 That will at least be on the official record, and even if she can't hear,
Councilwoman
she'll be
Love?
able to add that.
Councilwoman Ronay.
Yeah, got it.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to other business. Does anybody have anything they'd like to say?
Anyone on the council have anything?
When is our meeting's gonna stay until the end of this month, Mayor?
For now,
That's what you all had decided to do through the governor's latest orders. So I'm continuing to let it go that way. So no one on the council has anything? Well, I do know that our superintendent of public works wants to update you on the CMAC and share some other information with you. And so I think Zach Wilkinson has something to share.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Did want to update y'all on a few projects first. One was a Gray Street project. Of course, it's been in the works for over a year now, but we did finish up the curb right before the holidays and finishing up a couple of the last driveway tie-ins. So it'll be ready to be paved as soon as weather permits. Some of the sidewalk was eventually omitted off that project just due to some right-of-way conflicts that we never could get resolved, but we're hoping as soon as we get some good paving weather to finish that project up. Also wanted to update you that 2 of the dangerous building orders that council had addressed us to tear down. We finished one of them today, the one on Bly Street, and we'll be finishing the one on Carson by the end of the week. So we have those buildings down in safe condition. And also I wanted to update you on the status of the CMAC grant applications that we had discussed. It was back before the holidays, but just to give you kind of a quick refresher, the council decided there's 3 different projects we're looking at. One of them was the Lot 4 multi-use path project. The other was the phase 2 of the ITS traffic signal communication and coordination project. And the third was some various intersection improvements. We submitted LOIs on those, and 2 of those LOIs were accepted by the state, and we proceeded with getting the applications in. Those applications are being reviewed right now, and we're waiting for find out if we'll be awarded those projects or not.
Which
And
two
just
projects y'all send in?
the Lock 4 multi-use path project and the Phase 2 ITS project. And then the third, the various intersections project, there's another round of grant openings. I believe it's this spring sometime that we were planning on submitting during that round. The Phase 2 of the ITS grant project, there was no local match involved with that. But on the Lock 4 multi-use path project, there was a, I believe it was a $950,000 match, which would be the city's portion of that project. I think in the previous discussions, the assumption was that part of the bond issue would cover the city's match on that. So I just wanted to update you on the status of that. And I think when we originally discussed it, we didn't have a firm number on what that match amount would be, but so that's kind of the status of those projects right now. And as soon as we hear something, we'll hopefully have some good news to share regarding the award of that. Did want to share one final thing with y'all. I guess earlier this week, submitted my resignation to the city. Had some other opportunities come up, and I just wanted to let this council know how much I appreciate the support that y'all have given me through the last, I guess, 5.5 years in public works, and then previous 13 years in engineering, but have made the decision to go a different route than the city. I'll still be working in Gallatin locally, but I do have a number 2, Richard DePriest, here at Public Works, who more than capable of taking over and through that transition period. And then also, I know he's shown interest in the position, but I want to be available and do whatever I can to make that transition as seamless as possible. So I guess tonight wanted to, and Connie or the mayor may want to take over from there, but wanted to discuss what that transition would look like and how I can help in any way to make that transition go as seamless as possible. There is a process as far as evaluation committee and interviewing potential candidates, and but I do want to just make sure this council knows how much I appreciate the time here and the opportunities that the city's given me. I want to echo what Mr. Gregory has said, some of his final comments, just how I guess us as department heads, we get some credit and blame for stuff, but ultimately all that credit goes to the men and women that are working for these different departments. And can't say enough about the staff at Public Works, along with all the other city departments, and what a true blessing it's been to me to get to work with all these men and women, everybody on this council, all the department heads and everybody. That being said, I guess I do want to, I guess need to figure out the best way to make this transition just as seamless as possible. And I don't know, Connie or the mayor, when y'all want to.
I'll go. Yes, I was not happy that Mr. Wilkinson has decided to leave the city, but I certainly do wish him well and recognize all that he has done. And you have been a great leader, and I know you will do very well as you pursue your future endeavors. We are prepared to post the position. We will go through the process just like we did when we hired for Mr. Gregory's replacement. The job posting is ready to go, and Connie is working on a committee to put together, and we will get those evaluations and job posting and interviews lined up as quickly as we can make them happen. I've told Zach if he would just stay for 3 more years, we'd feel real comfortable, but he's not inclined to do that for us. So, but we
in the form of a motion, Mayor.
No, I don't think so. I mean, but we are going to work.
I want a motion to make him stay.
Oh, to make him stay, absolutely, yeah, yeah. I've tried to tell people we're Hotel California, but it's not working. No, but we will, help him be able to separate from us and work for his new company as soon as we are able to do that. I know that we can work together, and he said he would be happy to be available once he has departed. So
Zach,
Zach,
we
I'm
appreciate
sorry to hear
everything,
it.
buddy. I mean that. You've done tremendous work since you've been here, and anytime we call, you're always there, and I appreciate you.
Yeah, we're all sad to, I'm sure, to hear this. I am. You've been a joy to work with and a great leader, Zach.
I'm sad and disappointed because I was looking for you to kind of work like 50 years like Mr. Gregory did, because you're young, you're very, you're a people person, you're very gifted, you're very talented, you're very attentive. When I call, I'm sure with the other council members too, and I just a sad day for me, really. I'm very disappointed because I really enjoy working with you. I enjoy talking to you and all, and I just like your expertise. But I really was looking for more years. But I wish you the best of luck.
And you've done a great job, Zach. Like John said, you've been very accessible to all of us, and anytime you call back. You're there for us. So we're gonna all miss you. I know that. Thanks.
Thank you, Zach. I appreciate it. And I think you're a good boy. Kind of sounds like you and David are teaming up and going into business or something.
Never know. No, the feeling's mutual towards every one of y'all. I see some of the things going on in other cities, and I've always been so thankful that the council that we have is who they are, because it makes our jobs and the ability to do our jobs much easier. I just truly appreciate, coming in somewhat young into the position, the support that y'all have given me through the years.
Sean Davis too old to get him damn business again. He can't do that.
You got that right.
You got that entirely right. Can't remember where I was yesterday.
Yeah, there you go. He's looking forward to travel and just getting out of it. Yeah.
And we have sad news, won't we? I know I'm not in charge of this meeting, but I saw where Nick Tuttle did have something to say, and I don't know if any other department heads do, but Councilman Fan, I'm gonna let you roll with it.
I'm just gonna tell Zach, nothing ventured, nothing gained, and I'm proud for him if he's doing something that he wants to do, and obviously he is, or he wouldn't give up his job. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
No, Nick wants to say something.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm scared of what he's gonna say.
Yeah, maybe we need to adjourn before and let him speak on next meeting.
There's his business partner.
No. Thank you for the time. I was actually wanting to speak before Zach, so I wouldn't have to follow that, but
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I didn't mention it before, so but no, I'll say something about Zach too. Zach was actually my first hire when I became a very young city engineer, and so I'm very proud of him and how he's grown, and he's done a tremendous job for the city of Gallatin. So I know he'll do well in whatever else he does. And just like I told him today, he's a good man. So I hate to see him leave our staff, but I know he'll do well anywhere else. So that's not what I was intending to say before I raised my hand. But the other thing that I was going to say was I'm ready to spend some of that money that we're borrowing, and wanted to give you up on those things. We do open a bid for an airport road project on Friday. It's the widening of Airport Road from Gregory Drive to Hartsville Pike, and so we're expecting that bid opening this week. And then we have 2 requests for qualifications for engineering firms to hire 2 engineering firms that are out advertised now. And one of them is for the Bly Avenue project, where we would be looking to widen and upgrade the signalization there at Bly and Eastland. And that one is due from engineers back in about 2.5 weeks. And the other project that is out being advertised for engineers to send in qualifications on is the Smith Street widening that will be around the courthouse. And we're expecting that one in about 4.5 weeks. So we've got a lot of things going on, and hopefully getting ready to try to get some contracts on those projects and start spending some of that money we got coming in.
Good job, Nick.
All right, now we're ready to adjourn.
I'd like to say something if I could.
Okay.
I just want to inform the council that we are moving forward with resolution through the planning commission initially, and then it will eventually come to council as a resolution and an ordinance to amend the code of ordinances to dissolve the regional planning commission and have only a municipal planning commission. The city was designated as a regional planning commission back in the early 70s by the state planning office at the time, which that function is now managed by the Department of Economic and Community Development. So to remove the regional planning commission, we would have to have the endorsement of the state, and that involves the local government planning advisory committee that I mentioned earlier. And the reason we're doing that is because the county had adopted a resolution last summer establishing the county zoning authority over properties within our planning region. So we no longer have zoning authority. We still have subdivision regulation authority, but that's been creating a lot of confusion for us and means that we would have to implement the county's zoning code as part of that subdivision regulation. So it is very confusing. It's particularly confusing not only to staff, but also the public. The city of Maryville did something very similar to this recently as well. And we were pretty much modeling our process on how they went about changing the status of their planning commission. So we'll be working on that, and you'll see those documents coming your way in the coming weeks.
Anybody else like to speak?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Meeting adjourned.
Bye, everyone. Hey, Bill McCord, I'm fixing to call you.
Okay.